the urban explorers, this is something that if they wanted to get involved with, they could do with, a certain way you could do this, and you could do a scan on concrete and it wouldn't affect anything. You know what I mean? Because I really don't think you'd get in trouble for trying to discover a missing person at a building. You know what I mean? I really don't think you can get in trouble for that. But, a lot of things you got to have permission to do. But if you're, just going in there to do a concrete scan, and there's a way you can do it without drawing attention to yourself, and like that, I don't see the harm in that, to be honest with you. And, people's mentioned that, maybe you could put a concrete scan under a wheelchair and just go in there like that and check it out like that. There's just so many different ways you can do it without drawing attention to yourself and, getting in trouble, But just scanning the concrete, I really don't see where that would get you in trouble. But the people that we've talked to have mentioned the wheelchair and the concrete scan and stuff like that. That's just something that people came up with, that's an ideal where it wouldn't draw attention to you and you could still do the scan and things of that nature. So there's just a lot of ways to do that kind of stuff. And like we said, we don't think there would be any crime in trying to find a missing person or discover a body that's been buried. You know what I mean? I don't really think you can get in trouble for something like that. I think everybody would want to, help find Mr. Hoffa and discover the past history that, a lot of people's talked about it over the years. And, but that's the information that we got recently. That's the reason that nothing's really been done about it. But now the demolition is going to take place, and they also talking about maybe just taking the tower down from the top down, like that. And so they ain't really came to a decision on that we've heard of. They might have came up with a decision, but we haven't heard about it yet. And they thought about, just taking it down like that, where, normally if they take a big building down, they'll use explosives and stuff like that, and it just falls straight down. But this case being so big, and people are saying, which the eyewitness, Michael Yarborough, is saying that he's seen them throw him in there and that he's seen them cover him up with concrete. So he knows that he's in there. So it's 100% he's in there. But then also over time, Michael Yarborough, the eyewitness to the murder and burial of Jimmy Hoffa, he's talked to the cement truck driver's son. Now, I ain't going to back this part, but this is just what Michael Yarborough says, because I don't know if he did the research on the concrete driver's son to see if he was being legit or if he just wants to be part of the story. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get that situation going on. But maybe this cat's the real deal. I don't know. Michael Yarborough, maybe he's did the research on the guy before he even met him. But anyways, he meets the concrete truck driver's son, and his son tells Michael Yarborough that they killed his dad because they didn't want the story to get out. And it's not, I don't know if he told Michael Yarborough when they killed his dad, if it was the same day that Jimmy Hoffa got killed, or if it was years later. And the same with the jackhammer guy. So, you know, so basically at the site, you had 3 individuals in the Mercury, plus Jimmy Hoffa. That was 4 individuals in the Mercury that arrived on the scene. You had the cement truck driver, you had the jackhammer dude, and then you had another cat that approached Michael Yarborough when he was being an eyewitness to what was going on. So, you know, you got a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys altogether, counting Jimmy Hoffa and Michael Yarborough. So he's been wondering why they haven't, you know, made a move on the situation of Jimmy Hoffa, and our sources let us know that that's what the deal is. So when they take down the towers, that's when it's going to take place. Or it might take place when they shut the towers down, you know what I mean? But either or, you know what I mean? And they just can't do certain things with buildings and, you know, mess with the structure of the building, you know, not unless it's approved, you know what I mean? So that's the information that we've had and we got. And we wanted to share it with everybody just to bring an update on the story. And hopefully that'll bring some understanding to some people about why nothing's been done. So, you know, that being said, make sure that, you know, if you're interested in this story, do your research on it. Watch who you listen to on social media and stuff like that about this story, because some people's just doing the story, you know, for clout or for money or, you know, something like that. So make sure that the stuff, you know, everything's not true. You know what I mean? So make sure you do your research. Be your own judge of character on people you watch on these channels and listen to and stuff like that. And then fact check them also. And then that way you would know, you know, a rough idea about what's going on. But here at Detroit's Darkest Times, we don't give you nothing but the truth as we know it. And no fairy tales. You know, we want to keep it real on Detroit's Darkest Times. Stay positive. Grow with this channel. Be a part of this channel. And more to come later on the story. Just stay with us and do some research on it if you're not familiar with it. And we're out.